Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues. As you can see, I'm growing a beard here. This is for a response video for me getting voted off Who Reviews the Reviewer. My beard is growing because I'm in just such a sad disarray that I can't compete in the competition, and I'm kept on logging it up. Logging it? No, I'm just lazy and have it shaved. My wife's like, shave. And first thing on beards, I don't get why people are growing beards. Didn't we already do that in the 70s? And looking at those old pictures in the 70s, the beards kind of look silly. I work with a guy, his beard's about this long. He's like, I'm growing a beard. It's like, I get it, Snaggletooth. You look really good there, Grizzly Adams, with your beard. Sorry about that. I just think beards are kind of senseless. You know, a little bit of facial hair, but beards, I'm not a fan of them. Anyway, this isn't about beards. This is about my goodbye. So I've got a couple things here, as professional as this can be, on a piece of paper. Sorry I couldn't be there for Who Responds Reviewer. The life of a drummer never ends. I was at a rehearsal hall and we were rehearsing 60 some odd songs. We were going to be a house band at a local restaurant, so got a lot of music to go through, so it was kind of hard to stop rehearsal and get to be here. Sorry guys, would love to. But so I'm doing this video response. Rockman LP was like, hey, just do a video response. I was going to send the audio file, but hey, this is a way of getting a chance to do at least one more video for Who Reviews the Reviewer. You can vote me off, but I'm not leaving. So got a couple little notes here. I watched the Who Responds to the Reviewer that was just uploaded, which this will be a response to. So I wrote down some questions that they were asking since Sam and I both couldn't be there. This is going to be the answer section and some of my thoughts for the competition. They're kind of all out of order here, so I'm going to try and look through this. As they were talking, I was just kind of writing them down going, oh yeah, I'll mention that, oh, I'll mention that. So I'm going to try and do them in chronological order. That probably won't make sense. Rob, just shut up and start reading. One of the questions was how we did it. I'm an assistant director out at the local high school, and I'm also their drummer and instrumental director. And this past month we had, if you've ever seen the show Glee, it's about show choirs and kids singing and dancing and performing. It's not like Glee, it's a lot better, you know. Anyway, the whole month of February was, I didn't have like hardly a single weekend free, and with working nights and having weird sleeping schedules and getting up and only having a couple hours of sleep, going out to the high school, rehearsing, coming back home, trying to sleep, and then go to my full-time job and doing that almost every day. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday are my days off, but I was spending time out at the high school rehearsing with the students out there, and then getting on a bus Friday evening, going to competitions Saturday, all day Saturday, coming home, trying to spend some time with the wife on Sunday, and then doing it all over again, which meant I was having very little time to put towards Who Reviews the Reviewer and any other reviews I was going to have on my channel. So on my channel I would just shoot a bunch of videos all at one time, and then I could just upload them from, you know, a computer before I'd left, or have my laptop and go, okay, upload. But trying to do a competition with somebody else, not only another person, but somebody that lives in a complete different time zone, was just crazy to figure out, how am I going to do this? We're hours ahead or behind whoever that person is, and trying to communicate. Sam and I spoke 0 words to each other. I don't have a webcam. Just recently got Skype working on my wife's iPad, but she had not bought the iPad at the time of this. So the only people that I knew that had one were my parents, but that would be inconveniencing them, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. So it was through all just emails, back and forth, through Facebook, and then we actually exchanged emails. I actually shot my portion in my house, threw up a curtain real quick in case Sam was going to do any extra editing behind me or anything like that, and shot all of that in half a day before I went out to the high school. Shot all that, and then took that footage with me on the bus and wrote the script to it. So Sam was in charge of all of the editing and things like that, and what I did where all the jokes were, or all the segment changes, I would write it out as if I was on stage. I've acted on stage and done musicals and comedy and things like that. So I thought I had a feel for where the beats were and all that stuff. So I could write out, okay, you need to get these lines out in this amount of time, and I gave him time markers from 1 minute and 45 seconds to 2 minutes and 32 seconds. This is where you need to get this all out, and you need to punch this word here at this time because of my actions. I actually did not write this, like I said, did not write the script until after I shot the video. So as you're seeing me do, I didn't really know what I was going to be saying. I kind of had it in my head, like, okay, I'm going to be talking about the drum, or I hold it up and do the whole ear thing. I didn't know the words that were going to be said. I just knew the feel of, okay, you're going to have a sound effect that's going to blow wind in my ear, or you're going to be kind of saying something like this. So it wasn't until I spent a whole weekend with high school students and kind of seeing them goof around, I took some cues from what, and they were watching some of it with me and like, oh, that's funny, you know, what are you going to do here? I'm like, oh, I'm going to say this, such and such. And they would kind of laugh. I would gauge their response on the, do you think that's funny? Like, oh, that's funny, or, oh, what's that in reference to? So that's kind of how I did that. I knew what was going to be said, but I really didn't until after I wrote it. And then I sent the script out to Sam, and I said, you know, use use your words and slang that you would use. You know, if I said, oh, that's really cool, or if whatever you would say to make it sound like it's you. So I said, feel free to change, you know, context if you need to make it sound like it's, I wanted it to sound like it's Sam's video. So I watched a lot of his stuff to try and get his feel of what he would say, and that was really easy to do. Being on a school bus, traveling with 48 loud kids, put my headphones in, get on YouTube to Sam's channel, and I could just watch a lot of his videos. So I hope that I caught a lot of his nuances and just kind of how he spoke, and that's kind of how I wrote that. So that's kind of how we did that. That's how we timed and paced things out. I chose a drum. Sam was like, you know, what do you want to do? And I explained the situation that I was going to have, that I was having, and actually let the cat out of the bag. I actually quit the competition for about this long, emailing back and forth with Captain Logan. I'm like, I do not have the time for something like this. I have the time to do a video for myself, by myself, but to try to include somebody else, and I'm going to be gone, away from the home, away from my computer, and I can't contact this person back and forth. That's unfair to me. It's unfair to Sam. And I was like, I think I'm going to have to step down. I was having a crappy day at work, so I was like, let me think on it. And I think at one point email said, I think I may have to step down. He's like, well, if that's what you need to do. And I said, well, let me think about it. And I came up with this scenario. And the scenario being, I was wanting to treat it like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And once I started thinking about that at work, I started having a good day at work, and I emailed Captain Logan. I said, scratch what I said. We're going to make this work. It's going to be awesome. And if you remember the Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck cartoon where Daffy Duck's walking on a white piece of paper, and you see his paintbrush constantly painting doors for Daffy to go through or dropping things on it, that was the original premonition that an outside force is controlling what Daffy Duck is doing, and you see Bugs Bunny. But then it was also kind of, I think Manos had said this, the instructional, here's how we're going to save money, Jimmy. Just kind of that old-timey feel video that I wanted to be something different than both of us were kind of used to, but both of us kind of did. And if you've watched my videos for Who Reviews the Reviewer, at least on my end, I wanted to make sure that every single video was different than the last video. They said, oh, we didn't see Rob on his first video. Well, then you finally get to see me on the second video. So just trying to do something different, and for this one, the drum review was like, I'm not going to say anything. So I'm going to let Sam do all the talking. So that's some kind of the ins and outs of that. Look at my professional piece of paper here as I go to the next point that they made in the response podcast. Why we did it was just out of necessity. Just for the fact that I was going to be with my drums all weekend, and I took the drum into the hotel, I looked up the drum and all that type of stuff. I thought we kind of made the point in the video that this is one of those that a drum is a specific thing, at least the snare drum is a specific thing that is the main drum for the drum set. So depending on your situation, we could have said the Eric Singer snare is the perfect drum. This is the drum you want. I bought the drum. It's my drum, so obviously I think it's a great drum. But the video did say that it's not good in an environment if you're trying to play quiet, which that's not the drum I'm using when I'm playing with my high school students. I don't need a drum that is so super loud. And we even demonstrated it in the video that you can't play it at a quieter volume. So watching that, I'm looking at the judges going, how do you not get that? We show 3 drums and kind of talk about, here's the main drum. It's good for the rock applications. You see that at the end of the video of me playing really hard on it. You see me demonstrating that the drum can't be played quiet, but the Sensitone snare, you could play that quiet. It didn't have to be played at the loud volume. So I didn't think we had to reiterate that. So going back and saying, this drum is good for loud applications, but not good for quiet applications. So that's why we put the tag on there that, know the musical style that you're playing and ask before you buy. So I kind of looked at that going, I don't get why you don't understand what we did. But hey, it is what it is. I thought it was kind of funny that the judges were split. Even Captain Logan was like, I think that was good for them. That might not have been good for them. My biggest fear this whole time was I could be the cause of somebody else getting voted off. I think that was probably for everybody, that the person next to me or across the pond from me may be doing such a better job, and then because of my knuckleheadedness, I'm going to cause somebody else to get voted off. So that kind of bothered me. So when it played out the way it did, I was like, okay, I got voted off. And my previous video for the buried, where I was inside my closet and all that stuff, in the crawl space in my closet, I was sure I was getting voted off that week. So when I didn't, that caught me by a complete surprise. I'd come to that realization, I'm getting voted off, it's okay, it's done with, I'm fine. And then to not hear my name getting voted off, I was stunned. I told my wife later that night, or that next morning when she woke up, I'm like, I didn't get voted off. I don't know how I didn't get voted off. Me being didn't realize I was so claustrophobic in that space that I had this wonderful script written out that I could, put online so people could see, but I could not stay focused on that piece of paper in front of me and just read the script like a teleprompter. I had a little tiny light above it, I could easily read it, but I was just so like, I've got to get through this, I got to get through this, I got to get through this. And that's all I thought. So all those points I wanted to make were completely out the window, and yet they still kept me around. I don't know if it's because I put myself in that predicament where they're like, this guy crawled into crawl space of his house, we can't vote him off. And that he locked himself in there. I don't know if also doing the behind the scenes footage saved me or not from with Captain Logan. So I was just really stunned. And so for this one, I'd always kind of thought that Sam and I's names were kind of mentioned off and on for elimination. And I wanted to do something different. I think Sam did too, so that's why we chose this. But again, I think it was out of necessity to me and the time frame I had, and Sam understood that. And he's like, don't worry, we'll make it work, take your time. He actually got the script for this the week of the video having to be in. So we got a little extension to make it go into Sunday, so we were the cause of the extension. And so of the last extension, just so we could have time to get that submitted. And I thought the Friday night was just really weird. Like, why not make it Sunday? Because you're really not going to get everybody together to review all of us in 2 days, because everybody hasn't had a chance to watch it. So Captain Logan was like, oh sure, that's fine, we'll go Sunday. So those are some of the hows and whys and how it was done. And with me just not being at home, I'm like, I'm going to be around my drums for 3 weekends straight. Let's just go with where, at least video-wise, where the strengths are for me, that I know the drums inside and out. And Sam's like, I don't know anything about drums. I'm like, just read the script, you'll be fine. And Sam could edit a lot of these little video segments together and put in his own stuff. I did think it was funny, though, in the video that I didn't show Sam who Eric Singer was. He actually had a picture of the Kiss drummer that was actually Peter Criss, not Eric Singer, although Eric was wearing the same cat makeup, so I thought that was kind of funny that he put a picture of the Kiss drummer. It was just the wrong Kiss drummer, but the right makeup, so I thought that was funny. Let's see what else we got here. Like I said, you know, I was afraid I was going to be the cause of somebody else getting voted off, so when Sam got the top banana, I was like, okay, it worked out how it was going to, and I was okay with getting voted off, and personally, I was kind of relieved. I was like, because I know the people that are left, that extra stress is like, okay, there's only so many of us left, you know. Now there's no top banana, it's just a complete vote off, and I know it was hard. I wouldn't have wanted to be a judge, and maybe I could be a judge at some point, who knows. But it's I know it's got to be nerve-wracking for everybody else that's left, so good luck everybody. I hope you all win. Although I think I know who's going to win just from the way their videos have progressed. So on to the next little topic that was mentioned in the video. Now, this might be, I have subscription written down. This is kind of something I did want to bring up, is when this was all put together, I'm going to kind of combine these two at the same time. Things we needed to know before we started the challenge. Needed to know, to have, to do. I really wish the judges would have said, in order to do Who Reviews the Reviewer, these are the things you are going to possibly need to do said series. You need to be able to obviously have a computer, a video camera, a Skype account, a video camera, because we could ask you to review something with a group of other people. I didn't have one up until a week ago. Actually, last night we just set up my wife's iPad and got Skype working on it to do the first Who Reviews the Reviewer podcast that we did. I actually went across the street to my parents because they had a webcam that was set up to be able to do Skype, to do the Skype, you know, chat thing. The computer that's right over here. There is no external mic, so I couldn't have done anything like that. These are things that your contestants need to know to have. Like, we're not going to say you're going to be using all of these things, but depending on the challenge, we might ask you to do that. There's going to be a considerable amount of time commitment that is involved in this, and this could span months to do, but the time frame really wasn't the issue. And they've worked really good at people. I know Aaron said, hey, I'm on vacation, so can we move the time back a little bit? I had school things that were going on, so they moved the time back a little bit. So that's been a little nice, but some things that we might need to know. The other thing was, I think they said we have to be under 500 subscribers. And I think there were some people in this competition that were really close to the 500 subscribers. And when I came into this competition, I think I was barely pushing 150, maybe. I might have had one of the lowest subscription counts, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. But looking at Aaron's subscription followers that he had, I'm like, holy crap. And his videos were so good. And that also was another point that Aaron did have, they call it conflict of interest. He did have previous working knowledge with Geekvolution, so that's kind of one of those that in those first few videos, like, oh, Aaron's stuff's always good. And I was like, how the heck do they know Aaron's stuff? And then finding out that he had worked with them once before, and I'm like, no wonder their stuff was kind of leading towards the way. Not saying it's right or wrong, not saying that Aaron shouldn't have been on. I'm not pointing that out to you, Aaron, at all. But those are some things that I was just kind of like, man, that's going to be hard competition to go up against, because they already have a working knowledge. They've already kind of seen what this person already does. So I could be totally off on that. I don't mean to be disrespectful at all. So please don't take it that way. That's just some of those early thoughts that I had early on in the competition. And I have a couple last little points here. I think that's almost it. I wanted to say thanks. It's been fun. I do have a second channel. It's called Purple Planet 10. I think the tagline may be Rob Myers. That's where I'm kind of doing some drumming and May see some comedy stuff from me and my friends from time, just a kind of a throwaway channel. I do review action figures and getting into some comics and things like that. That was one of those early criticisms that I got, that it was like, oh, he's like the review spot. And I'm like, I could be like anybody out there that is reviewing an action figure. And I always thought it was kind of silly to be holding an action figure while I'm on camera going, hey, you can take a look at this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you don't need to see me reviewing something. We need to be able to see the actual product. And I've watched people like The Review Spot and JTrain 997 and, you know, all different types of people, Chapman Films, and saw what was working with some people and what's not working with some people. And I thought, it's better to be behind the camera, not because I'm afraid to it. And trust me, you put me in front of a camera, I'm going to do all kinds of crazy, silly things because I like being on film. Which is why on my channel I started getting out in front of the camera, also because of who reviews the reviewer, and kind of doing my own thing, my own take of doing comic books and that type of stuff. So in a discussion format like this, I think it's good to be on film. So that's why I chose that, and to say I want to see a video of Rob and go, oh, that's so Rob's Rogues. I don't know how else to shoot an action figure or a gimmicky type thing being behind the camera and not look like everybody else. I don't have a plethora of editing applications on my computer that I can do all this fancy editing and all that type of stuff. For me, it's point, aim, and shoot, and get the point across. So it was kind of flattered getting talked about. Like, I feel like I'm watching The Review Spot, but at the same time, it's like, it's still me. I think I'm still being my funny, charming self, you know, when I need to be. So those are the few little comments that I had from the whole experience. Somebody asked if I had known what Who Reviews the Reviewer was beforehand, would I have done it? Because I had not watched a single Who Reviews the Reviewer. You know, and watching Geekvolution's channel over the last year or so, I would see that come up and I kind of went, meh, you know. The topic didn't seem real interesting. I really didn't know what it was, and shame on me for not watching it because it was fun. But I don't know if I would have done it had I known what it was initially. I had so much fun, and I'm very glad I had done it, but I'm glad I went into it with blinders on, not knowing anything about it. A big reason that I had done it, and it wasn't for the, you know, money, cash prize we were going to get, which would have been nice, but I would have loved the opportunity to be on Geekvolution to do just this, to talk about, I don't know if you can see him back here, to talk about Robin, or to talk about, you know, Nightwing, or Batman, or comic books, or anything, just to have that opportunity to talk to somebody else on their channel that's doing really well. And may have been a little self-serving to help myself too, but I just enjoy having other people in a room or two, and now have just starting to do the Skype thing, to be conversing with somebody else talking about a topic that we love. Which brings me to one of my last points here, something if you want to follow me. I'm going to be doing the Batman universe. I'm doing a series of reviews for them in action figures and comic books, but I haven't found out the full word yet, but I believe I'm going to be part of their podcast for their .5 episode. So if you go, I'll put the link down here below, for the BatmanUniverse.net, they have a whole podcast series where every week they review the Batman books that come out that week. And in my week is going to be the .5 week that they're calling it. We'll be looking at Birds of Prey, Batwoman, Teen Titans, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batman Beyond, I think. There's a Talon, I think, is in there, which I don't get why Talon is considered a Bat family character. The Talon was just a villain that the Batman family fought, but that's a discussion for a later time. So I've got that going on, which I'm really excited about to be able to do. Like I said, I'm just waiting on the email response to be able to confirm that, yes, I'm going to be doing that, but I think that's the general consensus. We're just trying to figure out time and shooting schedule, and I think it's going to work with my schedule and theirs as well. So this is kind of the farewell video. I would hope I'm throwing this out to Geekvolution. I would love to do something with you guys at some point. I've enjoyed your channel. So I'm kind of throwing myself out there for, hey, you can hire me for peanuts. You don't have to send me peanuts. Maybe a Diet Mountain Dew or Crush. I love Crush. And, yeah, you don't need to do that. I'll just do it. But to everybody else, my fellow brothers for Who Reviews the Reviewer, good luck. The rest of us are trapped in this Superman glass thing that you put us in. But you will kneel before Rob at some point, and all the rest of you but one will be in this prism with us. So, again, thanks everybody, Geekvolution and all the judges, thank you. I think I've learned quite a bit from all of this, and I've had a lot of fun. So, as I always do on my videos, this has been Rob for Rob's Rogues, signing off saying we will see you guys next time.